Royal Amy. Miles Long and Zeke Paddington!
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a majestic king. Of all the people in the king's court, his favorite was a young poet. One day, the king called for his trusted poet and stated that although he absolutely adored every one of the poems the poet wrote of lush green fields and two hearts joining as one, he craved a new type of poetry. He wanted something to make him laugh until he wet his knickers. That night, the poet sat in his writing room, pondering what type of poetry would make the king laugh. His sonnets and rhymes weren't meant to make one laugh. A funny poem, he thought to himself? Preposterous. Who ever heard of such nonsense? Hold on, I lost my place. And people wonder why I hate tablets.
Writer's block.
And then, an idea struck him. Of course, he exclaimed, I shall use nonsense to make the king laugh. And so was the birth of the Limerick. It was difficult at first, considering the poet was used to his mushy, lovey-dovey poetry. But he was determined to make the king laugh so hard that the king would fall out of his chair and cry his eyes out. He sat down at his desk and began. There was a young lady from Leeds who swallowed a package of seeds. Now this sorry young lass is quite covered in grass, but has all the tomatoes she needs. The young poet shook his head and tossed the page over his shoulder. He grabbed a fresh sheet and tried again. A funny young fellow named Perkins was terribly fond of small gherkins. One day after tea, he ate 93 and pickled his internal workings. Bah, the poet exclaimed, that will never do. He grabbed yet another sheet and tried again. There was a young fellow named Flynn, who was remarkably thin. When he carried a pole, people said, bless my soul, what a shock to find out you were twin. Oh, bollocks. The young poet was becoming more and more frustrated as he again tore the page off the table and tried another time. A tutor who tooted the flute tried to tutor two tutors to toot. Said the two to the tutor, is it harder to toot or to tutor two tutors to toot? No, it's all wrong, said the poet. He tried again. Said the ceiling one night to the floor, oh, how sweetly you lie on the wall. In your carpet so fine, let us please be mine. Come the day, they'd eloped through the door. Utterly frustrated, he threw down his pen and was about to give up. His head popped up then, and he exclaimed, yes, I've got it! My ambition, said the cranky old king, is to live as a bird on the wing. Then he climbed up a steeple, which scared all the people, so they caged him and taught him to sing. He swiftly ran back to the king and read his poem aloud to him. He put all of his soul into it, using every inflection. At the end, he laughed and laughed. The king, however, did not find the amusement in the poem as the poet did, and immediately had him shot. The end.